And now you can see the Anime and Alcohol Show in all its video glory on our YouTube page at roughedge.tv. For the very best breakfasts, lunches, and cocktails, visit Harbor Cove Cafe, the hidden treasure at the end of Spinnaker Drive in the Ventura Harbor. Open 7:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. every day. Harbor Cove Cafe, located at 1867 Spinnaker Drive in the Ventura Harbor. For more information, visit harborcovecafe.net or give them a call at 805-658-1639. We'll see you there. It's Sunday morning, 8 a.m. That means it's time to drink some beer and talk some anime and other stuff. This is the Anime and Alcohol Show, live here on Rough Edge FM with your host, Devin Crow.
Mic's not on.
Yes,
there
it
it
is.
Now it
Of
is.
course it
Now
is.
it's on. Well, good morning.
Good morning. How are you, sir? We missed last week
We
because
did. I was fucking miserable last week.
for the first time in anime and alcohol history, Devin Crow called out sick.
I did. It was pretty bad. I was pretty miserable.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you're feeling better.
Yeah, I got sick from Anime Impulse.
Is that what happened?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh, you got something picked up because of all the crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where things get shared. You know, it's like kids with school, guys like you with anime, me with rock concerts. It's that kind of thing. So,
Yeah.
It's just if you avoid people, you won't get sick.
Exactly.
Just what we say. So, anyway, what's going on? What has happened in the past week?
I mean, a ton. I mean, Monster Hunter Wilds released. That was a massive game title that's released. I'll talk about that. But I want to talk about Anime Days. That was a event that I went to yesterday to sell some 3D prints at. A few weeks ago or about a month ago, I applied for a vendor at this little event called Anime Days at Garden Walk in Anaheim, which is like right by Disneyland. And
It's a small thing. It's not like a big convention, right?
It's not a big convention. It's like a one day, like, you know, it's like at an outdoor mall and a bunch of vendors, you know, and shit selling stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I applied, and then like 2 weeks ago, I got the email saying, hey, you're approved by a table. You know, just because you're approved doesn't mean you're guaranteed for a spot. You know, the spots sell quick, you know, which is normal for you know, they'll approve a bunch of people and it's first come, first served by. So I went on, and the area I wanted to do was sold out already. It was the upper level, and it was expensive. You know, it was like $300 for a table.
Okay, that ain't cheap.
And then they had a lower lot. So the lower lot was $100 cheaper. And so I ended up getting a table in the lower lot. So, you know, I got a bunch of emails explaining like, hey, you know, this is where you can go to blah, blah, blah. And so, you know, to set up. And then like a couple days before, they were like, hey, you're in the lower lot. We actually have a better location for it. My camera's a little weird. There we go. Yeah, we have actually a better location for you to set up. Go to this area instead. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So I go and I get there, and so the lower lot had the Ishitas, which is like the anime cars. You ever see those cars with like the anime girl wraps on them?
Sure.
Yes. So they had those, and those are always really big at conventions. People, you know, they
gravitate toward those.
Well, they set up a whole little area for people that have the little fancy fucking cars. Fucking nerds. So I was in that lower lot, and so I show up to set up, and they bring me to my spot, and I have the fucking worst spot in the convention. Like, this should not have been a spot, period.
Was it like outdoors next to the building next to the event?
So it was underneath, like if you go down, there's a Bolero there. So I was right next to the Bolero, but I was blocked by a pillar, by like a fucking video pillar.
Oh, great.
Okay. And so I'm setting up, and I go to set up, and I have my booth pushed out about 3 feet away from the pillar so I could be seen and not,
Smart. Yeah.
So one of the event people come up to me and goes, "Oh, you can't have your booth that far out. You have to push it in within the bounds of your spot with your 10 by 10 spot."
You mean back here where I'm hidden?
So yeah, so I was like, "Well, if I push it back, no one's gonna see me. There's a giant fucking pillar here. I'm in the corner. Like, no one's going to see me here."
Yeah.
She goes, "Well, you have to stay within the bounds." So I had Nathan with me, by the way. Nathan.
Previously from the show, Nathan.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, Nathan Lutz. So Nathan was with me, so he was helping set up, and so we pushed it back, and then when she walked away, we kind of pushed the table out just a little bit,
Yeah,
at
least
to where it wasn't as obvious and stuff, so I could at least be seen. So we're getting set up. So this is a little like red flag number one. So we're getting set up, and then around we had to be there at like 9 a.m. for setup. The event starts at noon.
Okay.
So we're getting set up, and about 9:45, like graphics start coming on because the pillars are like a screen, show images and shit. And it's like fucking fish flying around the fucking thing, which I thought was weird. But there's a giant like TV screen on the wall back. So like we're like right here, right? So this way towards the event, there's like a big giant screen on the wall as well. And all of a sudden a video starts playing, like a Dragon Ball Z video starts playing.
Okay.
And it was a Watch Mojo top 10 ultimate flexes in Dragon Ball Z. Now, that video played and played and played and played on a loop.
How long was the video?
From maybe 5 minutes.
So you had listened to that like 600 times. I
listened to that from 9:45 to 7 p.m.
God.
Okay.
Is that still in your brain?
Yes.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yes. And it was some form of fucking water torture.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
So I went up to like I was like, "Hey, can you guys either turn the video off or like play something else? Because like it's the same video on loop over and over and over again. We are going insane down there."
Yeah.
Not just me and Nathan, the other vendors as well, right? Yeah. And so so like, blah blah blah, and so like, yeah, they didn't. By the way, it played for like the entire fucking time.
Is your microphone need some Viagra?
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, we can hear you. You're good.
So that was red flag number 2.
Yeah.
So the event.
Did they say they would turn it down and didn't, or they just kind of ignore you?
No. Well, I'll explain why.
Oh, okay. All right.
Later on. So the event starts, and I was a little concerned because the spot I was in was really bad. You could not see me from where you get down to there. But I had a little bit of hope. I had Bolero literally right next to me.
Yeah, that's good.
That place is going to be busy on a Saturday. And then right across from me, I had the Chinese sellers that sell like the fucking cheap Chinese swords.
Oh, okay.
And cosplay stuff, I had them right across from me. And that booth is normally swamped at cons. I mean, normally they have a massive spot.
Could they be well seen there too, or were they hidden as well?
No, they were very well seen.
Okay.
So I thought, okay, there's hope for this.
Yeah.
And so the convention's going on, and then another thing, this other vendor. So I went and looked around. I was one of 2 3D print vendors there. I got there first. And the other one was also in the lower lot.
Okay.
This other 3D print vendor came up to us as they were setting up, the dude, and he starts talking shit about my booth. Yeah.
What was he saying?
He like came in, he's like, "Oh, looks like we got some competition here. Oh, you guys got the best spot in the house. You must have paid big bucks for this spot."
What a jerk.
Yeah. Now, like, here's the thing, like, I go around and I look at other 3D print stuff and, critique about what they have, but I don't tell them. I don't talk shit to them.
Yeah.
It's kind of like an unwritten rule. You don't really talk shit about like the booth that you're with, other booth vendors and stuff like that, especially to them.
Right.
So I thought that was really fucking weird. So then the event starts, and like there's like no traffic down here, right? So then I was like, well, I told Nathan, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna go check out. I'm going to go check out what's going on. The fucking escalators to get down to us, the mall turned them off.
Why?
Yes. So the escalator, and it wasn't like wasn't like a short escalator, but it wasn't like super long either. But it was a very steep escalator,
Yeah.
and so both up and down were turned off.
Some people think that area was closed off.
Yes, and then on top of that, there was no signage saying that there were more vendors down below.
Oh my God.
Okay.
So you guys were just a separate part of something with no advertising.
So we were getting a little foot traffic here and there and stuff like that. I made $114 at this event. I paid $195 for a booth. Now here's the thing. I was telling Nathan, if I go to an event and I do bad, I get frustrated, but like it's more or less an issue of I didn't have the right stuff to target the audience.
But not in this case.
No. I was frustrated because I feel like myself and the other vendors were not given the necessary tools for us to succeed.
Yeah.
You know? And on top of all of that, the fucking Dragon Ball Z video that played that literally was on a loop for 10 hours straight.
Drilling into your mind.
So towards the end, actually, the event coordinator was coming down and talking to us, and you know,
well, how are things going? You guys having a good time down here?
Exactly. That's exactly what he said. And I was like, honestly, no. I mean, this is terrible. And he's like, what do you mean? And I was like, we've had no foot traffic down here. I mean, you know, compared to and like I went upstairs and there was like fucking a band playing and a giant Eevee cosplay up there, you know, and tons and tons of people. I mean, it was packed up there. I mean, packed, hundreds of people up there. And, you know, a fraction of what was up there was coming down.
They didn't know you were there.
Yeah. You know, so there was no like, hey, there's other vendors down here. There was a sign that was like Ishita's downstairs, you know, but like not everyone's going to know, first of all, that's in this mall, you know, is going to know what Ishita's are. You know, there's, you know, and then with the escalators turned off and all that other, you know, I was explaining to him, I was like, this damn fucking Dragon Ball Z video, dude. And he's like, oh, I'm really sorry about that. You know, we set it up. I guess it was the mall that set it up.
Okay.
And they said, hey, we want some like anime videos on a loop kind of thing. Well, they took anime videos and just made anime video. And yeah. So he told me after the show to email him so they could express their concerns with the mall. And so if the mall gives them a credit, he said, you know, we'll give you a credit back, or, you know, we'll offer you an upgraded spot for free next time, you know, and this, because I told him, I said, I would not come back and do this event.
Yeah. Well,
like I would not come back.
Right. You didn't even get a chance to be successful.
No, there was no, we were not given the necessary opportunities to be successful. Yeah. And I talked to a few other vendors and it was the same thing. Yeah. Like, you know, she was like, I you know, these kind of events, I typically make $700-800 in a day. I barely even broke $100, and I was the same thing.
Yeah,
same thing. You know, I sold some keychains and a couple of figures, and that was it.
So, did you email a guy?
I'm gonna email him today.
Yeah.
Then I want to talk shit like fully, because if he makes it right, he makes it right.
Yeah, and he very well might.
You know, if he doesn't do anything, you know, by next week, we'll go
into details.
Do you have a commercial to play?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why, you got something to do?
I got to go to the bathroom.
I figured as much. All right, we're going to play that right now. This is our friends at Pele Utu. This is a bar up in Reno, Nevada. Our friend Dr. Shocker owns it and runs it. He and his wife Rosie, and it is the true tiki bar with all the decorations that you look for at a tiki bar. The great cocktails, the tropical cocktails like Mai Tais and other things you've never heard of, but they know how to make them. So anyway, Pele Utu, watch this, please. Pele Utu, Reno's only traditional tiki bar. A kaleidoscope of colors and tropical charm with the undeniable allure of paradise and intoxicatingly delicious cocktails. Pele Utu. Open Wednesday through Sunday from 2 p.m. to 11 p.m. 1275 Stardust Street in Reno, Nevada. For more information, please visit pele-utu.bar. That is a Pele Utu in Reno, Nevada. I'm hoping to go back there in November. Reno's quite a ways from where I live, but I want to get up there again. It's been too long. We were able to go last year, shortly after they opened, and just had a great, terrific time. And Reno's an interesting city too. Hadn't been to the biggest little city on earth in a long time, but the casinos are there. They have a really unique feature at the casinos, and there's a strip of casinos which you could go, and we did because we didn't know, from casino to casino by leaving the casino, walking down the street to the next casino because they're connected. What we didn't know is that the second or third floor, I believe it is connected through all the casinos. So all you had to do is stay inside and just walk through, and you could go through all of the casinos there. So that's next time we know how to do that. Maybe when I go in November, I'll do it right. So that's Pele Uto out there in Reno, Nevada. And then I will tell you while Devin is in the restroom that I saw the movie The Monkey this week. And The Monkey is a new movie based on Stephen King's short story, The Monkey. It is about a toy monkey that plays a drum. And it's been haunting this family for years. And they've done everything they can to get rid of it. They've burned it. They've buried it. They've chopped it to pieces. They've thrown it down a well, but it always comes back. And the reason they're trying to get rid of it is because this monkey, when it stops drumming after you wind it up, somebody dies, and they die in a crazy fashion, kind of like the Final Destination movies. If you've seen those, you know how crazy those people get killed in those movies. It's got Theo James, who you've seen before in many things, and he plays a dual role as a twin brothers, and it is gory and explosive and wild. And so if you're looking for a horror movie that's way over the top, The Monkey is the movie to see.
Oh, The Monkey. That was that new Stephen King movie.
Yeah. It's crazy, man. It's just, you just laughing the whole time because it's so over the top that you just can't believe what you're seeing on the screen. But yeah, I gave a quick review while you were taking care of business.
Yeah.
So Devin's back.
I am back. So yeah, Anime Days. I mean, again, like, we had that one Anaheim reptile show that I'll probably never do again. That I was just a disaster last year. I made a fraction of what I normally make. Yeah. But again, it was an issue of, did I have all the right tools to succeed? Yeah, absolutely. What did I just get shafted by a bunch of other conventions going on at the same time? Yes, I did.
That happens too.
So was that the convention's fault?
No.
Was that the reptile show's fault? Absolutely not.
They took care of you and they gave you everything you did.
Yes. Yeah. We were in a good location. We had lots of foot traffic. I wasn't selling the stuff I normally sell. Was I frustrated that I didn't sell that? Yes, absolutely. But but this is different. Anime Day is completely different, Yeah. And like I was talking to someone else, another vendor, they came from Santa Maria, to this event, which is like 3 hours away,
it's a long haul.
So
compared to us,
yeah. So like, yeah, it is absolutely crazy and just a fucking disaster. Well, it really was.
Well, but let's see if the guy makes it right.
Yeah, we'll see if he makes it right. If he says, hey, we can't give you a credit because the mall's being a dick, but we'll give you a table up top next time we do the event.
At a discounted rate or
free or whatever. I might give it a shot. I would not do the lower lot.
Yeah, well, because it might as well not be there. I mean, if they don't have any signage to it or anything like that, any events going on downstairs, then they don't even know you're there.
Yes.
And probably several people, people who bought from you, wandered downstairs and went, oh, there's more of this.
Yeah. It was pretty bad. And then the escalators was like the nail in the coffin.
That's bad because, like I said, it makes some people think that area is closed off. It's not part of the convention. So.
Yeah.
And what was the thinking on that? I can't even imagine.
No idea. No clue.
Yeah, I don't get that.
I think the event coordinator his name was Sam. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I've honestly, I don't think I've ever complained about an event to the event coordinator ever.
Yeah. Well, but this one certainly drove you to it because they didn't hold up their end of the bargain.
No.
Yeah. And maybe it was because of the mall, but that's just not. But tucking you away in a corner where nobody can find you is not helping anybody.
No.
It gives them an extra $300.
I even told him that.
Yeah.
I was like, no one
can even see me.
No one can see me.
Yeah.
No. I was like, when I went to set up, I pushed my booth out
so they could see me.
So I could see me, and then I was told I can't. My booth has to be within the space that it was,
the space that's hidden.
Yeah,
as well.
And he was like, "I'm really sorry. I'll talk to the event team, about putting people in places that really shouldn't be a spot." You know?
Exactly. I mean, you don't sell a spot that's worthless just to get the extra money.
Exactly.
You just don't do that. So,
yeah.
Without at least having some signage more down this way or something,
Yeah.
Crazy. So what else going on?
So Monster Hunter Wilds came out.
Yes, it did.
That came out on Friday. For Steam users, we got it at 9 p.m. Thursday because that's midnight.
Right.
And it had a huge online player base, because you can go onto like Steam, like track Steam titles and stuff. It had over 1 million players playing at once.
Wow.
Within the first 24 hours. But with that said, it has been met with extremely mixed reviews for this game. And it is
what are people saying? It's
optimization issues.
Okay.
So I have a pretty high-end computer.
Yes.
They just released a new graphics card this year. So it puts my graphics card, one generation behind now. I'm not too worried because the new graphics card release has been absolutely disastrous.
I've been reading about that.
They're missing components on the graphics cards. They're catching on fire. The cabling's melting. A lot of issues. So, but Monster Hunter Wilds is a very demanding game. It requires a minimum of 120 gigabytes of storage.
Wow.
On a SSD.
On an SSD.
On an SSD.
Because it's faster than a regular spinning hard drive.
It does, the recommended the recommended requirement for like graphics card is actually pretty high up there. It's a 20 series. Excuse me, I still have this nasty cough.
Yeah.
And I think the minimum requirements is like a 1600, I guess 1660 or something like that. So, which is, an older graphics card, came out in 2015, but like the recommended is like a 2060, I think. So yeah. Well, here's the problem. The game for me runs great.
Okay.
I don't have a lot of issues. Nathan spent the better part of 4 or 5 hours of the game trying to get the game to run properly on his computer. Now, Nathan is one generation behind me, but his graphics card from that generation is the top of the line graphics card, a 3090. You could do 4K, 8K gaming on a 3090 technically. And he could not get the game to run, better than 30 frames a second at times.
And he's a computer very knowledgeable when it comes to computers.
Yes.
Very much so.
So this seems to be an ongoing issue to where, and that was actually I was watching some reviews for the game before the game came out. And one of the videos I watched said, we actually, me and my friend, who's another reviewer for the company, we played this game on essentially the exact same PC build. Mine's a 4070 build. His is a 4070 build. I have this, and he has basically the same exact parts. But for some reason, mine ran no problem at 60 frames a second, but his wasn't running very well.
Huh.
So there seems to be support issues somewhere in there. And, that's where the mixed reviews come from. I mean, there was like 25,000 reviews and it was like 50% positive because the optimization on it was just god awful.
Yeah, not many people have that high end of computers, and even those that do apparently are having some issues anyway.
And so here's the thing. So like I asked Jay, because Jay was playing it too. Jay's a big Monster Hunter fan like the rest of us. And I was like, hey, you having any frame rate issues? And he's like, and so Jay has my old graphics card, my 3080 Ti.
Okay, interesting.
Which is the model below Nathan's. It's a higher end 3080, but it's still a 3080 Ti. It's not, a 3090. He was having no issues. He'd have a little bit of wonkiness somewhere, some rendering stuff, coming through. But so why is a higher end graphics card having issues where the lower tier graphics card isn't having any issues?
That's interesting.
Yeah. And so Nathan found out that, if you use, the graphics card is an NVIDIA 3090. And if you were to use the AMD's like frame generation, that it would then work properly. But why you're not using NVIDIA's DLSS, you're using AMD's DLSS basically. What? And Nathan's like, why? What the fuck? So he finally got it running properly, and he's been playing the game, and I've put about 15 hours into the game the last 2 days. I didn't play any last night. I wanted to play some when I got home, but I had to watch anime, and Sakamoto days and everything else like that to play. But I'm really enjoying this game.
Good. It's just after the people figure out the glitches on it, they can have a good time.
I haven't had any issues. I'll get some frame rate drops when I get into like the campsites where there's a lot of people and stuff, and everything's rendering all at once. But once everything renders, the frames jump up to 60 frames a second.
Yeah,
and it's no problem whatsoever.
Okay. Well, so it's yeah. So do you think they're going to figure this out? They're going to make.
They're going to definitely put some graphics patches on the game and get it figured out. And I think the reviews will level out and it'll be mostly positive kind of thing. But I mean, the game is super fun. One of the other complaints is that they were saying that this game is too easy. And I've been kind of blown. And so the Monster Hunter series typically don't really have like a defined story mode. It's just, go hunt a big monster. And, the last big one that came out was World, which I think came out in like 2015.
Okay.
And Nathan and I played the shit out of that game. I think it actually maybe came out soon. Or no, it came out I think 2015. So but that was the last big one. The Rise came out, but I didn't like Rise. It was a Nintendo Switch game that got ported to the PC, and it just felt like a cheap arcade game. I didn't like it at all.
But you said this was a challenging game. Did you mean it was challenging in the sense of people trying to get it to run, or playing it?
Challenging to getting people to run. But typically, these hunts, you go out and you hunt these monsters, and they're big, giant monsters, right? And there's a bunch of different types of weapons you can use, to a giant like great sword to I'm using something called an insect glaive that you can shoot like a beetle that gives status effects, and you can like vault yourself in the air and do aerial combos and things like that. But like the story in it is you find, the Hunters Guild finds this child in the desert of this like wastelands that they thought was uninhabited. And so you get recruited to go and help basically find this kid's home, where he came from. And, all along the way, you find these giant monsters that, the Hunters Guild is aware of. And then there's this new monster that they think that was extinct, but they found evidence of it. And that seems to be our villain monster, so to say. And so
there's a good story to it.
There's a decent story to it, which typically Monster Hunter games, other than the Monster Hunter story games, like don't have. Sorry, this cough is killing me, man.
Yeah, that's always the thing that lingers too.
Yeah. Oh God, it's miserable.
So you're recommending this game then?
I would recommend it if you can get it to run.
Yeah.
It's super fun. $70 for this game. I actually bought the premium edition that came with all the DLC content, like costumes and stuff like that. I bought that as a kind of a reward for selling a big account. And it's super fun to play. It is a little, I don't know if it's a little on the easy side, because like the weapon you choose really depends on how easy the game is, because some weapons are a little more user friendly than others and such. And I use the twin blades in my Monster Hunter world, and I wanted to try something different for wild, so I used the insect glaive. And your dodging abilities with the insect glaive are pretty high up there, because if a monster's doing like a big attack, you can vault in the air and kind of stay in the air for a while and miss the attack. So but I'm having fun with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's a big plus. If you're having fun with it, other people are having fun with it.
You know who came out to California?
Who's that?
Andrew.
Why didn't he come see us?
Yeah, I know, right?
Rude.
Yeah.
Hope he's listening.
Yeah. Flew out here.
We would have bought you a beer.
Yeah.
Each of us. That's 2 beers.
Yeah.
Okay, it's time for our beer of the week. This is brought to you by Crow's Pest Solutions. Crow's Pest Solutions is
Don't drink and drive.
Yes, is a Devin's company. He is a pest control. It's on the bottom shelf. It's the Mind Haze Citrus Crusher, and we're going to try that. Devin has been in the pest control industry for dozens of years, and if you need anything done, that's the guy to call. So call Devin. Crow's Pest Solutions, or look him up at crowspestsolutions.com.
I don't have a website.
Oh, well, I'll make you one.
Okay.
Just with a phone number or something on it. Anyway, Crow's Pest Solutions. And our beer today is the Firestone Mind Haze Citrus Cyclone.
We have cups?
IPA, we do. Let me grab them for you.
Okay. Yeah, this is the Firestone Mind Haze Citrus Cyclone IPA. So let's get this poured out a little bit here.
And once again, I would like to congratulate my son and his wife on their recent wedding, because we're still using cups from their wedding. So I appreciate you guys supplying the.
Now he's going to be moving down here soon, right?
April 1st. He's they're moving into the duplex that we live in, and they're moving in next door. So it's going to be kind of great, actually.
Damn.
I have a question for you after we try this beer, because I've been having an issue with my PS4.
Okay.
And I don't know if you have the answer or anybody else out there has the answer, but if so, I'd like to hear from you. But let's try this first. Citrus Cyclone IPA from Firestone.
That's tasty.
Oh, that is.
Yeah.
Very juicy.
Very, very
Citrus
juicy.
is big on this one.
Yeah, very juicy.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah.
I wonder do you have the ABV on it over there?
If I had to take a guess, 7%.
Yeah, I'd guess somewhere up there.
6.2.
6.2.
Yep.
Yeah, it is very, very refreshing. This would be a perfect beer on a hot day at the beach or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a good beer.
It's almost like drinking a margarita beer. I don't know if that's true or not. All right, so my PS4.
Yep.
There was a recent update on February 7th.
Uh-huh.
Or 17th. I don't know, but it was last month. And I didn't notice it at the time because I don't play a lot of DVDs on my PS4. But I've been watching the Saw series from beginning to end, and I needed Saw 4 to continue. When I was in Wyoming, I found Saw 4 at a thrift store for $1.50.
Yep.
So I snagged it, brought it home, plugged it in my PS4, and it says unrecognized disc.
Uh-huh. And
I'm all, well, damn it, the disc is damaged, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But I took it into my computer, and I was able to rip it.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, well, you know, apparently the ripper could see through whatever error was on the disc. Yesterday, I opened up a brand new DVD, still in the wrapper, opened it up, plugged it in, unrecognized disc. So suddenly my PS4 will not play DVDs. It'll play Blu-rays, but it won't play DVDs. Now, I was told to go in and rebuild the database. And the way that I was told to rebuild the database is you hold the power button, it beeps instantly, but you hold it down until it beeps again. And then you release it, and it comes up into safe mode.
Yeah.
At that point, you're supposed to plug in your controller and hit the PS button.
Yep.
And that takes you to safe mode.
Yeah.
But it doesn't.
Okay.
I can't get past that scene. It just freezes there. So now I don't know. I even tried the trick. I even turned it on. And maybe I shouldn't have done this, but I did. I turned it on normally so that the screen came up, and then I unplugged it while I was on. Plugged it back in. Screen comes up, says rebuilding. I think it's rebuilding storage, though.
Yeah. And
it still wouldn't play a DVD. So I got to figure out how to get into the safe mode so that I can.
So it might be that the laser in the PS4 is starting to go bad, and
why would it still play Blu-rays?
Different format, different. So
I don't know.
Yeah,
but it doesn't explain why I can't get into safe mode.
Yeah, I mean that's an older PS4. I mean that thing's.
Yeah, it's the old Star Wars one that
you
had. Yeah, and it's been a great machine. Don't get me wrong. But so what I'm going to do, I think, is take my old PS3, which I still have, and just put it on top of that, and I'll use that to play DVDs if I ever have them. And because I can't, you know, and then I looked online, how do you get into safe mode if it won't go into safe mode? And the other answer was to plug in the controller when the machine was off and just keep hitting the PS button until it turns on. Well, it didn't work either. So I don't know. It's just something weird. So I don't want to take it into You Fix It or something like that and have them tell me that, they're going to charge me $80 to do something silly. So if anybody out there has another workaround so I can rebuild that database, I would appreciate knowing it. But there's no way to get into it from the operating system. When you're inside the actual thing, you have to get into safe mode in order to do that.
Yeah.
So it kind of sucks.
Huh. Interesting.
I don't know. Maybe it is the laser, and there's nothing I can do about it. But I don't know why it would play Blu-rays and not DVDs.
Yeah,
it's weird.
It's strange.
Yeah, it's just it's a format software error,
Yeah.
I'm sure, but I can't do anything about it till then.
Yeah, weird.
Yeah. I'll use the PS3. It'll work. It's designed for that. I don't think did the PS3s play Blu-rays? I don't think they did.
Mm-hmm.
They did.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All the game discs after PS3 are Blu-ray game discs.
After though. So
PS3 and after are all Blu-ray game. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So anyway, I'll plug that in and use it as a DVD player if I have to. But it annoyed me because I wanted to watch French Connection with Gene Hackman.
Okay.
And I couldn't.
Yeah.
I could have gone online and bought it for $5.
Yep. Then you don't really own it. You're just.
Well, I have a DVD. Why should I have to buy it?
Yeah.
You know what I did? Took it into the computer, ripped it. I was able to. I will be able to watch it from there.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Just annoys me. Anyway, that's our PS4 question for the day.
Yeah. So did you watch the new episode of Sakamoto Days?
Of course I did.
Yeah.
I have to say Sakamoto Days is losing a little steam.
I was actually agreeing with you. I agree with you a little bit. I feel like it's losing a little bit of steam.
I still like it. I still laugh, but not nearly as much as I did the first few episodes. And you know, they keep introducing all these villains, and you know that Sakamoto's going to beat him.
Yeah.
And I always enjoy when he does. That's part of what I look forward to. So it's not the story is getting boring. It just seems to be slowing down.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, that's sad.
And it's not like it's not like the show's bad or getting bad or anything else like that. It just doesn't feel like it has the same edge on it. Yeah.
Yeah. You're right. That's exactly it. There were still some funny lines in it. But it's often been funnier.
Yeah.
The action sequence was still good, but again, there's been better.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when he punches the guy in the mouth and all you see in slow-mo is teeth flying.
Yeah.
I love that stuff.
Yeah.
But, other than that, it's like, oh, it's over now. And it was okay.
Yeah.
That's too bad.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll get better.
Maybe it'll get better.
How many episodes are left? This was 7, wasn't it?
Was it 7 or 8? If it was, so typically there's anywhere from 11 to 13 episodes.
Let's see what episode that was.
Scott's gonna look it up right now.
It was number 8.
It was number 8.
Yep. So
we at least have 8, 9, 10, 11, 3 episodes left, possibly a 12 and a 13.
Okay.
So
they got time to get better again. So
yeah.
I hope they do. Because I love the characters. I love the whole concept of it. And I love the fact that Sakamoto always wins and he always needs to win.
Yeah.
The way he figured out the guy who gave him the shot that made everything backwards.
Mm-hmm.
So when he wanted to hit the villain, he did his friend instead. He knew he had to hit his friend in order to hit the villain.
Yeah.
That was funny too. So, but yeah, it's got to get better.
Yeah.
I really hope it does.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe it will. What else you been watching?
So I left my A-rank party to form a party with people I trained or some shit like that. I was watching that one. Their former students reach the dungeon depths.
Wow.
We've talked about this one before. This is the one where they have the little like live broadcast robot.
Yes.
And they're going into this dungeon that's been sealed off because of danger issues and so on and so forth. And they went into this dungeon, and the former party that he was in, they were struggling to even complete missions and go through dungeons and defeat dungeon bosses after he left. And so they started to resent him for that, which I think was funny because they were, treating him like shit and withholding his money and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
And so they had a plot to try basically to get rid of him and get rid of his party mates and so on. And there was another character that, was mad that he partied up with these girls and he wanted to have a party with them basically. And, so he sponsored this group to put slave collars on the girls and then, take revenge and take his party mates away and all this other shit. And so the leader from his last party was like a childhood friend who just turned into a complete asshole. And so this last episode, that friend got some justice to him.
I can tell Devin's being careful for spoiler alerts.
Yes. He ended up using an item that made him more or less undead, so he couldn't be killed, and so he was
already dead.
He was going to kill our main character, and our main character ended up using a move on him that constantly damages his body until the user is dead, but the user can't die. Not the user, but the target is dead, but the target can't die, so he's just in this perpetual like exploding animation, and he's just stuck screaming at our main character.
Well,
it's pretty brutal.
Yeah,
it was pretty brutal. Yeah.
Well, that's one. So I left that's a huge long title.
I left my A rank party to help
my former students reach the dungeon depths.
Yes.
Not the longest title we've ever had.
No.
I wish I'd used this graphic instead. It's longer. But anyway, we're done with that one. What else we got out there?
What else do we got? I mean, not a whole lot. I mean, I'm obviously watching anime and picking, watching what has been coming out and stuff. I haven't had a chance to see the new episode of Reincarnated as a Behemoth that looks like a cat.
You should have watched that instead of going to that anime thing.
I should have. I would have had more fun.
Yeah.
I mean, so like the thing is like Nathan was with me at that event too. So it was like, we were sitting and talking shit about people that we see and ogling the hot chicks that go by there and all kinds of stuff. But I mean,
but if you'd been by yourself, it would have been utterly miserable.
If I went by myself, it would have been absolutely miserable.
Yeah. And the other thing is, it was in a mall, right?
Yeah.
So there's probably a hot dog and a stick in there somewhere.
No.
What?
That was the other thing. Half the mall was under construction, so a lot of the restaurants and other stuff were like closed.
That didn't help either.
No, that didn't help either.
Yeah.
So like there was like a banh mi place, which is Vietnamese sandwiches, and that was closed, and there was a lot of sections of the place closed off. So there was really all that was to eat was like sit down restaurants. I ended up going to this Mexican food place. Oh man, I gotta tell you this story. Went to this Mexican food place and I had to sit at the bar to order food to go.
Okay.
Which I thought was weird.
They send you to the bar sometimes for food to go.
Yeah. So I ordered the food to go, and I basically what I made is what I spent on food,
Jesus.
Because everything was like, $25 a plate.
Yeah.
And so I was talking to the bartender, and they had like all the fancy whiskeys, like the Rip Van Winkle, Rip Van Winkle Blanton's. That's the one with the horse on the top, but they had 3 different versions of it, like a really expensive, not expensive, and then the regular version. And I was asking the bartender, I was like, is that stuff really worth it? And he was like, it was a Mexican restaurant, so he was like, no, like tequila and stuff like that. People come here to drink tequila, not
of course. I'm surprised they had whiskey like that at all.
Fancy whiskey, because I saw it and I was hoping I could talk the guy up and let him give me a taste of the stuff, but the guy was like, do you drink? And I was like, I don't drink a ton. Yeah, that's fine. So I was talking to him and he's like, ever since I was hospitalized, he's like, I haven't drank in 4 years. And I was like, oh, congratulations. He's like, yeah, ever since I got sick with COVID, I was hospitalized for COVID. I quit drinking. He was like, yeah, I was drinking 3 to 4 bottles of vodka every day.
Good Lord.
Yeah. And then he would tell me, because I guess he would work at the other restaurants in the mall too, or something like that. And then he got a bartender job here. But he was telling me it's fine. He was telling me like on his break, he would go and fill up a pint glass with vodka 3/4 of the way, and then top it off with water, and that's what he would have on his breaks.
That guy had a problem.
Yeah.
That's a lot of liquor on his break.
Dude, I was like, how are you still alive?
I mean, it's free meal on shift and not free drink on shift.
I mean,
maybe that was a meal.
A 16-ounce glass of vodka.
That'll kill you.
Yeah.
That'll kill you. Unless you're Lemmy.
Yeah. Or that guy.
Yeah. Or that guy. But he's not drinking at all now?
No, he doesn't drink at all. He quit he quit just after he was hospitalized.
So COVID's probably the best thing that ever happened.
Yeah, COVID was the best thing that ever happened to that guy. Insane. Wow. I can't imagine drinking that much vodka in one sitting.
People drink like that and they become functioning alcoholics. And that means that you'd never know that they were drunks.
Yeah.
But because they go to work and they do all their stuff, but then they go home and they crash and they wake up and repeat.
Yeah.
So
it's fucking insane.
Yeah, it is. That's nuts.
Yeah. Jesus.
Well, it's like I've told the story before about Lemmy when he was Lemmy from Motorhead, and he had the guys from Metallica over at his house. And he says, you guys want a drink? And they're all, yeah, sure, we'll have a drink. So he comes out, and there were two of them and him, and he had 3 bottles of Jack Daniels in his hand, and he handed the first one to the guy from Metallica, and the guy was like, what am I supposed to do? Take a swig from this? But then he handed the other bottle to his buddy, and he kept the third bottle for himself. That was how Lemmy handed out drinks. Here's a bottle.
Jesus fuck.
So people could just do that, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. That much vodka a day, just once a day or every break?
Every break.
He's lucky to be alive.
Yeah.
He probably is fermented or something.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But, so did you try? You didn't try any tequilas?
No, I didn't try any tequilas or anything. And
when I was in Wyoming, everything is much, much cheaper in Wyoming. And we went to this little bar called Joe's. It's the smallest bar in Wyoming. 14 people capacity. It's as big as it is. And they had Blanton's at the bar. I thought, if I'm going to try Blanton's, this is where I should try it because, you know, and it was like $6 for a shot of Blanton's. Like, this is just crazy.
Yeah.
But it was decent. You know, those high-end liquors, there's a point when they just can't get any better.
Yeah.
It's like, I'll remember Doug and I were in Las Vegas, and they had just introduced a Patron Grand, which is $250 a bottle, or at least was then. And we thought, you know what? How much is a shot? $25. We'll each take a shot. And so we did. We got a shot of the Patron Grand. Saw the guy pour it from the bottle, so we knew it was from the Patron Grand. You know what it tasted like? Patron. There was no difference between that and regular Patron. Why pay that much more money for it? It was crazy. So you got to think hard before you start spending that kind of money.
Yeah.
And some of those whiskey bottles are like $30,000. Why? I guess because you got the money.
Yeah, I think the regular Blanton's or whatever is like $130 a bottle.
Yeah, some of them are for sure.
Yeah.
And that's just for the little horse top.
Yeah. A fancy round ball.
My buddy Joe Lopiano, that's his favorite whiskey, Blanton's.
Oh, is it? Oh,
Blanton's, but
yeah.
Anyway, so what else we got going on? Anything?
No, I think that's pretty much it for today. I mean,
Devin, I just want folks to know that Devin called out sick for the first time last week, and he was late for the first time this week. So
yeah,
I don't know what's going on.
It's not the first time I've been late. I've been late before. Yeah.
Well, I know, but not, you know. I thought you were going to be right around the corner late.
Yeah.
But you were like 20 minutes late.
Yeah, I was
20
just fine.
I was sitting there. I always have stuff to do here.
Yeah.
Clean up stuff. So it was.
But yeah, it was, I don't know. I was recovering from the show yesterday and just that I'm going to send an email out to the event coordinator.
Yeah, you need to.
You know, just outlining some of the issues that we felt that, you know, the vendors just didn't have the tools we needed to actually succeed. And, you know, again, if it was an issue where the traffic was coming and I wasn't selling stuff, it sucks, but that's, you know, it's not the event's fault. I really felt like this was kind of the event and the location's fault that we didn't have an opportunity to succeed. And I was talking to a few other vendors, and the few other vendors were also having, you know, traffic problems as well.
No way that they put you in a lower level with no signage that people know you're there.
Yeah.
They just don't, you know, and hopefully they'll do the right thing. I went to a hotel in Colorado once. And I think it was a Holiday Inn. I'm not sure. It was a nicer hotel though. So it probably wasn't a Holiday Inn, but anyway, it was for a business trip.
Yeah.
And I had a room. It was $200 a night. I was only there one night, but when we got there, first of all, they told us it was the Holiday Inn in Denver. Okay. There must be one Holiday Inn in Denver, right? We get to the Holiday Inn. No, that's the other Holiday Inn. Well, why didn't you guys tell us which Holiday Inn it was at? You know, because it was back in the days of the phone calls instead of online. And so then we go inside and there's signs everywhere. Enjoy the jacuzzi and the open bar, not open bar, but the bar that was there.
Yeah.
Like, oh, let's go get it in the jacuzzi and have a drink. Jacuzzi's closed for construction. Like, well, the sign says this. And then all night long, there was noise pounding on the walls for people, you know. And so I wrote a letter to them and I said, hey, this is what happened on our trip. We're trying to prepare for this business meeting and we can't because all this stuff's going on. And they gave me all my money back.
Oh, wow.
I thought, well, good for you. You guys know how to take care of a customer problem.
Yeah.
It was very disappointing, but anyway, hopefully this guy takes care of you too.
Yeah. The other thing too is it felt like really last minute, like applying for the show and like getting notification that we were approved kind of thing. Typically that's like a month in advance. They sent us like 2 weeks prior to like the event happening. And it just so happened I got sick the first week. And I wanted to start printing and getting new merchandise and, you know, getting some of my top sellers.
Yeah.
And the first week I was sick. it hurt to walk around. I was just so achy and
you just
everything.
wanted to lay down and sleep.
And I had no motivation because I also had to do some printer maintenance. I had to do some recalibration and some tightening of some nuts and bolts on the printer. And like there was no doing that, at all.
Well, and the other thing that makes me suspicious, and I'm just being suspicious here, it's probably just me, but you find out at the last minute, it's like, hey, we could squeeze one guy in this space.
Yeah, well, because it wasn't like that. So like when you got approved, it sent you to a website to buy the table. So like there was like a mass email of like, hey, you're approved, come buy, just because you're approved, you're not guaranteed a space kind of thing. And I went in, and then I saw it the next morning. They sent out an email at like 7:00 at night. I didn't see it till the morning, and so all the upper location spots were sold except for kiosks, the little mall kiosk kind of things.
I got you.
And I should have bought a kiosk. I should have bought a kiosk.
How much more is the kiosk?
It was the same price as the 10x10 in the lower lot, but it's a smaller space. It's like a 6 foot kiosk.
Well, kiosks give you an impression of not genuine. What I want to say of being bigger than you are.
Yeah.
You have a kiosk. It's almost like it's part of the mall.
Yeah.
So it's not a bad idea next time.
Yeah, but
ask for a kiosk. Tell the guy, give me a discount on a kiosk.
Yeah, I wanted to actually put tables and stuff out. That was the thing. But so it is what it is. I mean, the show didn't suck. Just our location sucked.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you've been saying.
Yeah, it was just the lack of communication, and that fucking Dragon Ball Z video, man. I
can you repeat it for us right now?
Almost word for word. I mean,
it's drilled into your brain.
Yeah,
it's stuck in those little wrinkles.
So what? Because there was a few times where like there was like a long pause of quiet, and we would think, and it would get us every time. We would think the video was done.
You'd relax.
And I think what they did is whoever set this up put that one video on a continuous loop for like an hour, and then it would auto play after that again, but it would take time for it to load and then auto play after that again.
Yeah.
But oh my God, it was
even if they did that, even if they put like a 10-minute pause between it, would have been better.
No,
wouldn't have hurt. No,
it's no.
What you're saying is make a longer video that doesn't repeat itself.
Make a longer video that has multiple videos in it.
Yeah.
Instead of the same Watch Mojo top biggest, ultimate flexes of Dragon Ball Z.
over and over
and over.
I wish you got a video. We played here as we went out.
Oh my God.
No, we like you all too much.
I tried to find the video on YouTube, and I mean, Watch Mojo has a bazillion fucking Dragon Ball Z.
Good luck.
Videos. I tried to find that one video. I couldn't find it. But geez,
why would you want to? To
torture my friends with it?
Okay, I knew there was a reason.
Yeah.
I'll watch
every
this.
5 minutes. I'm going to send it to you, Scotty.
I watch it till it's ingrained in my mind.
Oh man, it was so bad.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad it's over for you. So.
Yeah.
And make sure you send that email when you get back.
Yeah, I have to commend Nathan. While Nathan's not the best salesperson, he's very quiet and timid, and like, he when people would come up, he'd be like, "Oh, feel free to pick up the stuff," and I was like, "Fucking project your voice, man." But that man can set up a table.
Oh, I'm sure he can.
Holy fuck, man! That man, we got the tables and the table covers on there, and he started putting stuff out. That table looked great. It looked fantastic.
That does not surprise me.
That man, like I have like miniature stuff and like keychains and stuff, and I have it in a little like tote kind of thing, a little mini thing. I just dumped it out on the table and kind of spread it out and made it all like so everything was kind of facing upright. And then like later on, he went by and like individually sorted everything to like what it looked like and stuff. That man can set up a table.
You know what I say about Nathan? That man would not be in our lives if I didn't buy a quarter pounder with cheese from him.
Nope. Yeah.
Somebody asked me if we were hiring at the pest control company.
Yeah,
that's true. All right, folks. So we'll see you next week. We got a show that next week.
Yeah, I don't see why we wouldn't.
Next week's the 9th, the 16th. 16th will be our last show for a couple of weeks because I'll be
going to Hawaii.
Yeah.
Hawaii.
So, but we got at least 2 shows left in us here.
Okay.
And we'll see you next time.
Yeah, see you next time.
Brought to you by The Grape, Ventura County's premier jazz venue and cocktail lounge, located at 2733 East Main Street in Ventura. For menu and music schedule, visit them online at thegrape.club. This has been a Rough Edge Studios production.